we have them taking the first international player. Great scorer, just has these problems. The height really does matter in the NBA. I'm Sully with the Sidekick, and this is Sports with Sully. On today's show, we're going to be talking about my 2026 NBA mock draft, and we're going to talk about some of the guys the Mavericks could get at pick 9. So starting from the top, the Wizards land the number 1 pick. Big time for this franchise as they've made some kind of big trades last season, getting Trae Young and Anthony Davis, and now they get the number 1 pick. Very much needed. I have them taking AJ Dembele. It's really between two guys, Dembele and Darren Peterson. Darren Peterson has these injury problems, or else I think he would go number 1. He has so much talent. He's a 6'6" guard from Kansas who can score at all 3 levels and really is a pretty positive defender. But AJ Dembele is averaged 25 points at BYU in his freshman season in college basketball. Declares for the draft, and I think the Wizards take him, even though I think Darren Peterson could have the more upside. Number 2, Jazz, no-brainer. They take Darren Peterson. They just take whoever the Wizards don't take. I think they'll take Darren Peterson. He, like I said, he's just great scorer, just has these problems in Kansas where he didn't play lots of games because of injuries. It came out that they were cramps and that they were apparently really bad cramps. So hopefully he can get that situated because he can really be a great player in the NBA. Number 3 pick is the Grizzlies. I'm between two guys, Caleb Wilson from UNC and Cameron Boozer from Duke. I think Caleb Wilson is the better prospect, has more upside. But the Grizzlies already have Zach Edey at center. I know both these guys are probably going to be playing the power forward position, but I would prefer the guy that can shoot better next to Zach Edey because he already doesn't really shoot a lot, which is Cameron Boozer. I trust Cameron Boozer's shot a lot more than I trust Caleb Wilson. Cameron Boozer is a big wing who is a big-time forcer in the paint. He can stretch the floor a little bit. He shot 39% from 3 at Duke and really showed flashes of being a great three-point shooter in the next level. But I think the Grizzlies take him. He has great defensive upside and is a better shooter. Number 4 pick is the Bulls. I think they take Caleb Wilson, who is this athletic, probably the most athletic guy in this class. He's listed at about 6'10". He's probably going to play the power forward. He could play the center position a little bit as well. The big thing for him is if his shot is going to come around. He a little bit shaky from 3 at UNC. Didn't shoot it at a great percentage. And his mechanics are a little bit weird. He did show some really good flashes in the mid-range. Shot about 70% from the free throw line. So his shot is definitely there. He just needs to improve on it a lot. But at the worst, he's a really athletic guy who can catch lobs and is a pretty good defender at the rim as well. Number 5 is the Clippers. Clippers got really lucky because this trade was in the Ivica Zubac trade from last season. The Pacers pick was top 4 protected. So pretty much if this pick landed in the top 4, the Pacers would keep it. Any other result, the Clippers would keep it. So the Clippers get the best result moving up to 5. And the Clippers are probably going to take a guard. This is kind of the stretch of a bunch of guards going to be going off the board all in a row. I think the best one they would take is Michael Brown from Louisville. He had these back problems at Louisville that kind of limited his season. He wasn't able to play in March Madness, but I think he's the best fit, especially if the Clippers want to continue and compete and try and win. I think he has the best upside with his defensive abilities. He's also a great passer. Needs to improve on his shot. He showed lots of flashes of having a great three-point shot. He hit 10 threes in college against NC State, so his shot is definitely there. Needs to improve on it. I think he can go number 5 to the Clippers, especially if he stays healthy. Number 6 pick is the Nets. Nets really got screwed in this draft. They fall all the way down to 6. They don't really have a future. They don't have any really solid talent. They had 5 first-round picks last season. They took 3 guards. None of them really panned out to look like a whole lot so far, which makes this pick very tough because it's really all guards in this range. But they just took 3 first-round picks at the guard position. But I guess they're going to take another one because I have them taking Darius Acuff, who's a really interesting prospect because he has the talent. He is listed at 6'3", which The height really does matter in the NBA, but I don't think he's 6'3". I think whenever he goes to the combine, he gets the NBA height. I don't think he's going to list at 6'3". I think he's closer to 6'1", 6'2", which really matters. But he's a great playmaker, showed some really good shooting at Arkansas, has lots of upside. I think the Nets take just the highest upside guy because they need pretty much every position. Number 7, another team that got really screwed in this draft is the Kings. The Kings don't really have a direction for their franchise. I think they'll take Kingston Flemings, who's a guard out of Houston. Again, he's listed at 6'4". I don't think he's 6'4". I think he's more like 6'2", 6'3". But I think the Kings take him. He's a point guard who showed some really good upside. The shot was not very consistent, but he scored 40-plus points against Texas Tech. He definitely has the upside. Pretty good playmaker. Has a good mid-range shot, and I think the Kings take him because the Kings, they really just need everything. Number 8 is the Hawks. The Hawks are in, again, a really interesting position because they just made the playoffs but kind of got destroyed by the Knicks. I think they reach and take a center. I think they take Adai Mara, who's this huge 7'3" center out of Michigan who can protect the rim. He's a really good passer. I think the Hawks really want that starting center. They have Onyeka Okongwu, who's a little bit different of a center, kind of stretches the floor. I think he'd be great in a bench role and have Adai Mara start. Adai Mara is a great rim protector, like I said, great passer, and I think he could fit really good in this Hawks team. Number 9, the Mavericks could go in a bunch of directions here. They could go with the wing, the more experienced player in Yaxel Lindelborg. They could go with the great shooter in Braden Burries. Or what I'm going to do, I think they're going to take Keaton Wagler, who's this point guard out of Illinois. I think he could easily go as high as 5 to the Clippers, or he could fall a little bit to the Mavericks. There's just so many great guard prospects in this draft. He is a really good shooter, shot the ball really well, and is just a really smart player. He's not very athletic, but he really plays at his own pace. He's really kind of a slower guard, but a really crafty guard in the paint, can finish very well. He had a really good run with Illinois in March Madness where he showed off playmaking, showed his shooting a little bit, and also is a pretty good finisher, and I think he could be a great building stone for the Mavericks going forward. At 10, the Bucks could go in a bunch of directions. They could trade Giannis this offseason and get a package, or they could run it back with this really mid roster that doesn't really have a whole lot of pieces. I think they'll take the upside and take Nate Amen, who I think is going to be a big-time project in the NBA, but he does have upside. He's 6'10", he can shoot the ball pretty well. It was really inconsistent, had lots of growing pains as a freshman at Tennessee. I thought he would have benefited from going back to college and playing another year, but he declares for the draft, and the Bucks, I think, would be a perfect team to go to. He's not going to have a lot of pressure on him there, and I think he can grow, and he has a lot of upside. Can be a really good player, but he needs to find the right place to go to develop. Number 11 is the Warriors. I think this is a perfect fit for the Warriors, and that's Braden Burries, the shooter slash point guard slash shooting guard out of Arizona, who just made every play when Arizona needed it most. He stepped up in so many big games. He's exactly what the Warriors need, another shooter next to Steph Curry and Draymond Green, and I think he can be that. He is going to be a little bit interesting if he's going to be able to develop as a point guard. I think if he could show point guard skills and playmaking skills, he can be a really good NBA player, but at least he's going to be a good shooter. I think his defense is a little bit underrated. He's 6'5". He's a little bit bigger than I think people give him credit for, and I think his defense can translate to the next level in the NBA, and it would be a great fit for the Warriors at 11. At 12, I have the Thunder taking Yaxel Lindelborg, which has been a very popular pick lately. I think if Yaxel Lindelborg is on the board for the Thunder, they're definitely taking him. He has the kind of downgrade on him is he's 24 years old. He's like 5 years older than a lot of the top prospects, but he has the talent. He's a real 6'9" big wing who shot the ball very well from three. He really doesn't have a weakness because he's also a really good defender. He has size. He can shoot. He has good playmaking skills. And I think if he was a little bit younger, like he's maybe a 19, I think if he was younger, like under 20, he would be in that conversation going top 4. But the age, it really matters to lots of scouts in the NBA, getting more years out of him. But I think he can be a great player and would just be a perfect fit for the Thunder going forward. 13 is the Miami Heat. We have them taking the first international player, and that's Kareem Lopez, who is playing overseas in New Zealand. He's like a 6'8 power forward / small forward who has shown a little bit of scoring over in New Zealand. He's going to be a great defender. Translating to the NBA, he needs to work on a shot a little bit. He kind of just seems like the perfect Heat culture kind of guy. He's going to really give lots of effort on the defensive side of the ball, and I think he can be a good 3-and-D wing. And rounding out the lottery, the last pick of the lottery at pick 14 is the Charlotte Hornets, and I think they take Heinz Stombach, who's a center out of Washington. Kind of came out of nowhere. Didn't have a whole lot of hype around this guy, but he's a center. This Hornets, I think, need to find a center. They have Ryan Kalkbrenner really starting at center. And I think the Hornets are trying to find their center for the future, so I think they take him. He's a really good shooter. That's kind of the thing coming out of Washington. Shot the 3 ball very well. He needs to work on his inside skills. A little bit soft coming into the NBA draft, but he's going to be a good shooter, and he's a good 7-foot tall big man who can protect the rim, and I think he could be a good fit for the Hornets. So that's going to do it for today's show, talking about the NBA draft and the NBA lottery. This is Sully, signing off.